Hello drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Welcome to this free full video song lesson where today I'm going to show you how to play the song Take It Easy by the Eagles, drummed of course by Don Henley. As always, for my free video drum lessons and my full video song lessons, I've got the full PDF drum chart for you to download from my website for free, of course. You can find a link beneath this video. So have both of these pages printed out in front of you. It's going to make things a lot easier for you to understand. If you want to make your own song suggestions, then please go over to my Facebook page. You'll see a post where you get to type in your song suggestions, others get to vote on them, and the most popular songs get chosen for future lessons, just like this one was today. And you also might want to consider signing up to become an online member at my website, where I've got hundreds of other full video song lessons teaching you a song from start to finish, but I'll talk more about that at the end of the lesson. So this is a great song for beginners. There's nothing really complicated going on. The tempo is 136 BPM, so it's sort of a medium to fast tempo. So probably the hardest thing is to stay relaxed and have your right hand play. Which doesn't sound like much on its own, but after 3.5 minutes, your right hand starts to feel it unless you've got a nice comfortable grip and you're not gripping too hard and you're using as much of the wrist as possible and different techniques if you're aware of them, such as the molar whip or, well, at this tempo you don't really get the molar whip, but just stay relaxed. That's probably the hardest part of the song, the tempo. So, saying that, we've also got this rather tricky intro. And it probably throws a lot of people off because the guitar comes in with these stabs. And when you first hear the guitar come in, you're probably naturally going to think it's on beat 1. Well, actually, you've got to hear it as an upbeat. So, if you see the chart, confusingly for a new beginner perhaps, we've got this little bar of 1-8. And all that simply means is we're going to count an and just before beat 1 where the rest of the bars start. And that and we're going to count the and 1 is the first note of the guitar. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So you need to get that sort of settled into your mind. You can settle your ears down so you can hear the guitar part as the upbeat of the and of 4, not the downbeat of beat 1. Once you've got that in your mind, then you can sort of come in correctly with the drum fill at the end of the line, which is just 8 bars of guitar intro. So just one more time, if I sing it for you, we get and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a guitar pit. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And we're into our first little drum fill there, which you can hear is very, very simple. I've written it as left, right, left. You could play right, left, right. Simply snare drum, your tom in front of you, and then another snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Play it left, right, left, so then your right hand can come up to the crash cymbal. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. Then we're into our first drum beat. And this is the groove that Don plays throughout the majority of the song. We're playing 8th notes on the hi-hat, snare drum on 2 and 4, and this bass drum pattern on 1, and then the and of 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Boom, back, boom, boom. Goes with the bass guitar, the bass drum. So that last bar of intro into our first groove, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And you can see that at the end of the line, at the second bar there, we've got an open hi-hat on the and of beat 4. That's the little O above the and it closes on beat 1 of our first bar of verse groove. Notice how Don doesn't play the crash cymbal on beat 1. He could, but he chooses not to, goes into the verse quite subtly. And then we'll just say this from the beginning of the lesson is that there might be some extra little hi-hat notes going on, open hi-hat notes going on throughout the song. It's quite low in the mix. I found it quite hard to hear exactly, and I wasn't 100% sure on all of them. So I've just given you the most obvious opening of the hi-hats, usually at the end of 8 bars. But like I say, if you're hearing something else going on there, feel free to improvise with the open hi-hat a bit more often, perhaps at the end of every 4 bars you open the hi-hat on the and of 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. Not every bar, but certainly every 4 bars, every 8 bars, certainly that makes sense. So we go into verse 1, closed hi-hat, we just continue with the drum beat I just showed you. But there are some extra bass drum notes occurring. So if you look at bar 3, you can see that he also plays the bass drum on the and of 4. So we get 1 and 2 and 3, and then again and 1. It feels the same, but it's at the end of the bar instead of in the middle of the bar. 1, 2 and 3, 4, and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. So just for that third bar, we get those extra bass drum notes. So bar 2 into bar 3, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, and it continues with just the 2 bass drums in the middle and not the and a 4 into beat 1. If you forget it, if you miss it off the page, don't worry too much. It's not important, essential for the song. But if you want to play the song note for note, then it's there on the chart for you. So we go all the way through that line, 8 bars of that groove, just that 1 bar in bar 3 with the extra bass drum note. And then an open hi-hat at the end of the bar on the and a 4 again, just as we talked about previously, going into our next chorus. And guess what? No crash cymbal on beat 1. We do get some crash cymbals later on, but it's very, very subtle drumming, this from Don. Very tasty, very musical, not feeling the need to show off or anything. I'm not sure if he sings on this track. Yeah, we don't get a crash cymbal on beat 1 of the chorus. And chorus 1 just continues our groove. We get 8 bars of just that simple drum beat. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3. And then the end of chorus 1, bar 8, we get our next drum fill. And this is played like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we had and 4 and before. I did it right, left, right, left. In fact, it's the same way. Left, right, left. Yeah, that was right. So it's just here instead of here. And on top of that, Don opens the hi-hat just for a very short amount of time for beat 4, closing on beat 1 of the next bar. And 4 and 1. So it opens on beat 4 with the bass drum. The snare drum gets played while it's still open, and then it closes on beat 1 of the next bar. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You could just play 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That'll work just as well, but on the recording it's an open hi-hat. So before we go any further, let me now play for you, let's say the last bar of the intro, so I won't count the whole 8 bars without any drumming going on. The next line, and then the whole of verse 1, and then the first line of chorus 1, so we can hear all those different sections, those drum fills next to each other, without me yakking on over the top, so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So going on to the next line of the chorus, and I'm really going to be repeating myself a lot here, so there's not much to talk about. All 8 bars are exactly the same drum beat we've talked about already. The next line is just 2 bars long. First bar standard. The second bar, though, has this drum fill. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Remember we had and 4 and... Well, now it's just and 4 and... It sounds like it's a lower tom, so I think it's the floor tom he's playing, but you could play it up here still. It doesn't really matter. So we get 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, left, right, left. Does it go into a crash? No, it doesn't. It goes into verse 2. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So on to verse 2, and 8 more bars of standard groove. Chorus 2, guess what? 8 more bars of standard groove. I hear an open hi-hat at the end of the first line, so be aware of that. The next line of chorus, standard stuff all the way through. The 8th bar, though, we get this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, another 3-note drum fill, starting on the and of 3, but this time between the 2 toms. And 4 and 1. To give it a bit more power, he plays both toms together. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Does it go into a crash? Yes, it does this time. We go into the guitar solo. Very nice, simple drum fill, but works well with the song. So the guitar solo, line 1, 8 bars of groove, but bar 3 again has that extra bass note on the and of 4, so look out for that. Then, next page, guitar solo continued, 8 more bars to stay in the groove. The 8th bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again that drum fill, again going into a crash cymbal. We then go back to verse 3. Bar 3 has the extra bass drum note, notice a pattern here. And then bar 8 has the open hi-hat going into chorus 3, sorry. Chorus 3, 8 bars of groove. And this is probably the hardest part of the song for a new drummer to play. So bar 8, we get this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now on its own, that's fine. It's going into the next line, the next bar that you might find a little bit tricky. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. But then Don doesn't play the hi-hat on beat 1. You could if you wanted to, and I'll show you how you can do that in a second. But Don comes back in with the bass drum on the and of beat 1. So you can see that second line there, we skip the note on beat 1. Nothing's played there for the drums. When we come back in with the hi-hat and bass drum on the and of 1, we get 1 and 2, and then the first time in the song we get 3 and 4. So the bass drum moves to 3 and. So just to hear the difference between the two different drums we've been playing so far, 1, 2 and 3, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4. And when you first start playing, you might find that a bit tricky to hear the difference between the two. That was just the 2 bars played next to each other around a couple of times. So be aware of that. But going back to what we got here, you want to practice the 8th bar into the first bar of the second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now if you find that jump over the hi-hat and not playing anything on beat 1 tricky, then you could play the hi-hat there. Absolutely fine, no problem. You could play this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So I came off the hi-hat and 1 and played just the hi-hat on its own on beat 1. That might help you to keep your right hand in time. You're not stopping with the right hand anywhere. It's sort of helping to keep, in time. So you could play it 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. Again, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. But on the recording, if you want to play it note for note, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. That's probably the hardest part of the song there. So have a go at practicing that. Then we get the same idea being played for bars 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So really that's a clearer way to practice it, just bars 2 and 3. It's exactly the same as the previous 2 bars. And then bar 4 into the next line, we just get 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and the last line, second bar, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So not and 4 and, just 4 and, but that crashing was in the same place, the and a beat 4, you got to feel it as the and, the upbeat, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Single snare drum on beat 4. If you want to give it a bit more power, have fun, play it as a slam. That's probably what I would do live. I'd play 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Just because it's I don't know, it's meatier for me, I like that. But Don doesn't, very simple drumming, just a single snare drum note. So there's a lot going on in that chorus. So now let me play for you all 3 lines up to speed. So then finally we got the outro, and first 3 bars standard stuff, but bar 3, notice how he doesn't play any hi-hat on the and of 4. You could, but he doesn't. He plays 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and, the and is rested, and then we get this really nice little drum fill, very, very simple. We play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So be aware where the ands are. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Da da do do da. That's the orchestration. Snare high, floor, snare high. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. With the bar before it. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Really nice but very effective. Into a crash on the next line. 4 more bars of our basic groove. Notice the crash symbol at the beginning of bar 3 as well though. Next line, we get bar 1, bass drum on the and a 4 as well. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. And then we're going to get this build up. 1 and 2 and 3. The crescendo underneath that notation means we're getting louder. 1 and 2 and 3. I'm not starting the snare drum at full volume, I'm starting it quite quietly. 1 and 2 and 3, and then beat 3 I'm at sort of normal volume for the snare drum. But then for the last 3 notes, again the old toms both together, and 4 and. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But I wish I could get to this part here. Don't worry about continuing to increase in volume. Just play them nice and solidly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Into a crash symbol. So bars 1 and 2 there. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Again. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Next 2 bars there, just standard groove. The last line, bar 2, we get 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just snare drums on their own. If you want to play with the hi-hat, fine, but I couldn't hear any hi-hat being played in the recording. He just simply plays and 4 and 1 into a crash at the end. So the last line there, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's how the song ends. So let me now play for you the last 4 lines of the outro. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstotheword.com. Don't forget to download both pages of the PDF from my website for free. Again, the link is beneath this video. And then while you're at my website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for £97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's very close now to almost 600 full video song lessons where I teach you famous and popular songs from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart. And I've got a load of other beginner songs. I think I've got at least one other Eagles song. And I'm sure I'll be adding more Eagles in the future as well. As a thank you for signing up, I give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many, many famous drum beats, fills and even drum solos. I give you 3 ebooks that I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous drum beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstotheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.